Thank you for watching another episode of Devar Malchus, this from Parshas Pinchas, blessing the new month of Menachem Av, the 24th of Tammuz 5751. And the innovation of our Parsha is the phenomenon of settling, the division of Eretz Yisrael in each tribe and to each and every one of the Jewish people as we stand presently at the threshold of the true and complete redemption, as understood from the signs of the redemption, as we have spoken many times, several times, as it's understood from the first and foremost. There is a lesson from this regarding the settling and the division of Eretz Yisrael, literally in the redemption. However, since we still find ourselves a moment before the redemption, it is understood that we must learn from this also now. From the Torah is eternal instruction for all times and places. And when we say the explanation of this, based on instruction of the Tzaddik Tzedek, a Jew who wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael in order to occupy himself in Torah and godly matters there. Machdu Eretz Yisrael, make here Eretz Yisrael, since this was told over and publicized by my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, to each and every Jew. It's understood that it's an instruction for every person, that also when we are here outside the Holy Land in the time of exile, even in the last moment of it, we need to make here this place and time Eretz Yisrael. Now this needs explanation. What is the content of service of man of make here Eretz Yisrael? For seemingly, according to Jewish law, here outside of the Holy Land is not Eretz Yisrael. The complete service of Torah and mitzvahs of the Jewish people is specifically in Eretz Yisrael, as explained in several midrashim of our sages. And also, when we are here in a place, time of exile, a Jew prays facing east. Eretz Yisrael 3 times each week, each day for each week. Gather us together from the 4 corners of the land, and especially in the recent generations and recent times, and especially in the most recent time, that according to the signs of the redemption, indeed here he Mashiach comes. If so, what is the content of the instruction, make here Eretz Yisrael? Especially if that in every moment, especially that any moment now we already leave in the exile and go to Eretz Yisrael in the literal sense. And this will be understood by way of preference in our Parsha. According to the division of Eretz Yisrael, it was according to Lot, by mouth of the Lot, as related in our Parsha. Rashi explained from the midrashim of our sages that the Lot would speak. The Lot itself would cry out and say, the Lot was drawn this border for this tribe. Now we need to understand the point of this miracle. Hashem does not make a miracle for nothing. And if so, why did he make the miracle? That the Lot would speak. That defining of the division of the land, its borders for this tribe, could have been in accordance with drawing of a lot, as in regarding every lot without the miracle that the Lot speaks. And although Hashem wanted to show the Jewish people the lot is truly the decision of Hashem, not by chance, indeed, there was already a miracle for this beforehand, which showed us the lot was by divine will. Elazar, the Kohen, was dressed in the Urim, the Turim, and would say, with Ruach HaKodesh, the divine spirit, if such and such tribe is drawn, such and such territory will be drawn with it. And this shows the Jewish people that the lot is true and just. So why was it necessary to have the miracle? The lot would speak. And we may say the explanation of this, since Hashem commanded that only with the lot shall the land be divided. According to the lot you shall divide his inheritance. And you shall inherit according to the lot, and specifically through the lot, not only with the lot and not in another manner. Therefore, the division of confirming the truth of the division of each part of the land needed to be through the lot itself and not through something else. And we may say that therefore confirming the truth of the lot was also through the lot itself. The lot itself would cry out, since if there is room for one to doubt the truth of the lot and something else, Ruach HaKodesh is needed in order to show that it was the true and accurate. This shows that the lot itself does not accomplish the division of the land completely, and therefore the lot itself would cry out, which, though this is the lot itself completely accomplished the division, it itself said in a clear and open manner that such and such border is for such and such tribe. This, however, still needs explanation. The necessity of the lot is not a matter for itself, rather an intermediary for the division and settling of the land. And similarly, the speech of the lot does not have to do with the actual division of the land according to the lot. Rather, it's seemingly a side thing to prove the truth of the lot or publicize it. If so, what difference does it make in the division of the land if confirming of the truth of the lot and the publicizing it comes through the lot itself, or in another manner through Ruach HaKodesh of the Urim, Turim, or by Hashem's word or the like? Even if it was not through the lot itself, still the command of with the lot you shall divide the land would have been fulfilled completely. In other words, had the lot been a mitzvah for itself, and had it had its own importance and not an intermediary for something else, namely the division of the land, and the lot would speak, had been part of the actual drawing of the lots and division of the land through it, we would possibly understand why all the details of the division, including the confirmation that the lot is true indeed to be done specifically by the lot itself. However, since the drawing of the lots is only in a manner that Hashem wanted Eretz Yisrael to be divided, what is important here is the outcome of the lots and not the lot itself. Indeed, in order to fulfill the command, only with the lot shall divide the land, it is seemingly enough to divide the land according to the lot, and the confirmation and truth of it, which is a side detail, could come in a different manner. Why does the truth of it need to be confirmed specifically by the lot itself, which necessitates a special miracle, and is not enough that it be confirmed through the miracle that the lot was by Ruach HaKodesh of the Urim V'Turim through Eliezer HaKohen? And when we say the answer for this, based on the explanation of the Rav Gaon, that the Torah and its holiness, everything, even if it is seemingly a mere necessary step towards a goal, a direction, purpose, and commanded by Hashem, as with regard to the travels of the Jewish people of the desert, although they were a preparation and means to get to Eretz Yisrael, still the mitzvah included the actual walking and also the stops in the middle of the journey, where a mitzvah, as it says, and Moshe wrote, and what occurred to them upon their travels instructed by Hashem, and similar in several manners of holiness in the service of the base of Mikdash, in the matter that is only a necessary preparation and introduction to another matter, also receives importance and holy status, as we see regarding the bringing of the blood to the altar, that although the bringing of it only for the service of the spraying the blood on the altar, since according to the nature it must be brought, indeed the law is that bringing itself has its own importance and has a status of a sacred service, to the extent that an incorrect intention invalidates it. And when we say that it is similar and more so true regarding the lot, which through it shall divide the land, although the lot is a preference for the division of the land, since it is the manner which the land was divided. Furthermore, the division of the land with the lot, it's Hashem's command, and several times indeed the lot receives importance for itself, in addition to the fact that it is the means for which the land divided, and also its side details, the confirming that the lot is from Hashem, and the publicity of the lot, since they are details of a matter of holiness, they are connected to the actual matter. And therefore, for the drawing of the lots to be complete, to the fulfill Hashem's command, and the division of the land shall be in according to the lot. And it was necessary that the lot itself would cry out and say, the lot was drawn such and such border for such and such tribe, which shows that the lot itself was, and its own importance, has its power to accomplish the division of the land with no doubts, as mentioned above. And the explanation of this is in the inner dimension of the Torah. The conquering, division, and settling of the land alludes to the service of the Jewish people to conquer the land of the Canaanites and the land of the 7 nations, and to make them into Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, namely a Jewish and holy land, a land in which is recognized and revealed ways and connected to Judaism, godliness, and holiness through the Jewish people utilizing the land to fulfill it, and with it the mitzvahs that pertain to the land of Israel, to build there the base of Mikdash, about which Hashem said, and they shall make me a Mikdash, and I shall dwell among them, which this is the reason and purpose of the entire creation, to conquer the physicality of the world, as it says, to be fruitful and multiply and fill the world and conquer it, and to make from it a dwelling place for him. Blessed be he in the lower realm, to place in which Hashem will be revealed, so to say, like a man in his private abode. In order that the service of the conquering should be complete, it needs to be in the detail both of the conquering and the conqueror. The conquering of the land and its completeness is when the entire land is conquered, as it was regarding the conquering of Eretz Yisrael. If part of the land is left unconquered, the entire conquering is not complete, and also parts that were conquered, as is the simple sense, since there remains a danger from the people in the part of the land that has not been conquered, and similarly regarding the conqueror, when is the conquering complete, and in the manner that is completely evident in the conqueror that it was completely conquered by the conqueror, when the conqueror is engaged in the act of conquering with his entire self, with all its details, the action of man, the conqueror in the world in general, as with the 3 garments of soul, through thought, speech, and action. If he does not conquer the land with all three garments, rather only in action, without plan and thought, and without command and speech, the generals of the army, and to the conqueror only in thought or only in action, and the like. The conquering is lacking completeness, and naturally also the conquering of all the details and the entirety of the conquered lacks completeness, and similarly is so also regarding the conqueror of the world and the spiritual service to make a dwelling place for him, blessed be he, in the lower realms. That the completeness of the dwelling place is specifically when it penetrates all the details of the abode itself, similar to the conquering land, namely that in each detail of the abode it is evident that it belongs to the owner and abode. And from this perspective of the man who lives in the abode, who is revealed his full essence in the details of his existence through thought, speech, and action in his abode, since it is his permanent place, his abode, and similar to it, so to say, also regarding the abode for Hashem, blessed be he in the lower realms. The completeness of the abode is expressed in the fact that all the details of the lower realms in plural, are an abode for Hashem in a revealed manner, that his essence, blessed be he, is there in a revealed way, together with all his powers and garments, the revelations, the Seder Hashadalas, the 10 Sefriot, which are divided in general into three level realms of revelation characteristics to thought, speech, and action, the words of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. And since the abode for Hashem, blessed be he, in the lower realm is made through the service of Hashem, the service of the Jewish people rather, it is understood that also the Jewish people who conquered the lands must do a service with every aspect of his powers and garments, with thought, speech, and action, in addition to the fact that he makes himself into an abode for Hashem by serving Hashem with thought, speech, and action. His service in the world is fulfilling the mitzvah, and similarly in doing permitted thing for the sake of heaven needs to be with his entire self, his thought, his speech, and action, as known that the completeness of the fulfillment of the mitzvah is by fulfilling them with thought, speech, and action, both regarding the mitzvahs in general, for there are mitzvahs which are in the realm of thought, those that are the realm of speech, that are in the realm of action, and in general Torah, which is mainly with the speech and service, prayer, which is mainly in the heart through the acts of kindness, mitzvahs, which are mainly with action. And also regarding each mitzvah itself, a Jew needs to fulfill it with thought, speech, and action. The intention of the mitzvah, thought, the blessing for the mitzvah, speech, and the action for the mitzvah, action. For although according to halacha there are differences between the mitzvahs mainly involving action or speech or thought, or two of them, or all three of them, nevertheless, the fulfillment of the mitzvah is in its completeness, and especially in fulfilling the mission of man down here, and not only regarding reward and punishment and service in its bare minimum. It is specifically when the person does the mitzvah in true completeness with his whole essence and existence. It is regarded the mitzvah of loving Hashem in the Shema resuscitation, which is an all-embracing content of the service in general, and includes all the mitzvahs. There is no service like the service of love, which needs to be with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And from this we learn that this extends to all matters of service which we need to be complete, using all his strengths with thought, speech, and action, even regarding a tzaddik, a Beinoni, and Beinoni, whose difference can be between mitzvahs of thought, speech, or action, and how much more so regarding simple people who do not differentiate that much, and naturally they fulfill each mitzvah simply with their tongue, speech, and action. And the fact that a Jew does his service completely in all the details with his service, with his thought, speech, and action, he transforms the entire world, which is also divided into three levels of thought, speech, and action, to the abode for him, blessed be he. And simply in most things it is evident that their accomplishment in this world, the effect of thought, speech, and action of the one accomplishing, and hence when the person who accomplishes something in the world does it with all his garments, thought, speech, and action, it is also evident in the matter that he accomplished it in world. Based on this, the phenomenon that the lot would speak will be understood, just as the actual service of conquering and settling the land needs to be with the height of perfection with thought, speech, and action. Similarly is also regarding the details of service, also the matter that are also preparation and introduction of the service, although they have no purpose on their own, or they have a detail of service, they need also be done in the most complete way through thought, speech, and action, as known in the saying of the Rebbe Rashav, may he rest in Eden, which was publicized by his only son and successor, my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, that Panini puts himself into everything he does. Panini is the innermost essence of the Avishtar, of the Hashem. Once a Hasidic gathering, the Rebbe Rashab, that is, noticed quickly that the students were singing a song quietly. a song as an introduction to what would follow, a song saying the discourse or the like, and he devoted an entire Sikha talk for just this topic, the content of which that a Jew's service he need to do everything completely, even regarding a manner that is an introduction, that is an introduction to another manner, so that when we are still in this stage, we need to be completely immersed in it. Indeed, it is very important that where one is, one needs to be truly there. Wherever one is, he needs to be there. As long as I am occupied with this, I need to be here. And afterwards, one will move to the second matter, which the introduction was for, and do that matter with completeness. And when we say that the source for this is the revealed dimension of the Torah, as known that all matters of the inner dimension of the Torah are reflected in the revealed dimension, as above explained. As the above explanation of the Rachover gone regarding matters of holiness, that also the introduction has importance for itself. And according to this, we may say the reason for the miracle that the lot would cry out, just as the actual service of the conquering the land needs to be done in a complete manner with thought, speech, and action, so too true regarding the preparation and introduction for this through the division of the land by means of the lot. For although the lot is the preference and meaning by which to divide, conquer, and settle lands, nevertheless, it has importance for itself, as mentioned above, and therefore also the lot was in the most complete way. The lot itself made the entire division, and also the confirming of the truth and publicity of it, the lot would cry out. And the completeness is expressed in the fact that in the lot there were all three, thought, speech, and action, in addition to the action of the casting the lot and drawing of the notes, and beforehand the writing of the 12 notes, the names of the tribe, and the writing of the names of the borders of the lands. And through the intention that is needed is addition to being, and according to Ruach HaKodesh, the realm of thought. Moreover, the lot would speak. The division of the land according to the lot was accomplished completely through the lot itself, only by the lot, without anything else, since in addition to the actual lot itself, its action and thought which showed how it needed to be divided, the lot itself would cry out and say in a clear and revealed way, so that there was no doubt left in it. The lot was drawn, such and such border for such and such tribe. And when we say the reason for the fact that the completeness was expressed specifically in the miracle that the lot would speak by the mouth of the lot, and not the thought and action, since in order that there be a lot, there must be an action and thought, and the action of the drawing of the lot to the correlation with the thought and intention to do so, the turning fact that shows the most possible completeness is the matter of speech, which revealed the results of the lot in the complete clearness and revelation that this shows that the lot itself in the most completeness possible in thought, speech, and action, and as it is in the service of man, that the speech is the main thing that shows how much the person who serves the conqueror is permeated with the matter, and also the quality of his effect on the others, the conquered. And regarding the reason for this, why Panimi puts himself totally in every service he does, even in the service that is the introduction to another thing, the Rebbe Rashab explained two reasons. The talk above, this indicates truth and not being superficial, that whatever one is, it is with truth and non-superficial, specifically by doing the introduction completely afterward and following through to also be truly complete, since this is the true introduction, as the Torah declares, naturally, and more he will involve himself in the introduction without haste, and more he will be able to add in delving and broadening and the understanding actual matters afterward. And when we say that since Hashem set the nature of the world, that before one reaches the actual manner, one must first go through the initial step of preparation, introduction, or several preparations, so that the man and the world can get used to it. In words of Hasidus, becomes a vessel for the light of the emanator. Therefore, also the preparation and introduction itself is significant for the internalization of the flow through, and therefore it receives importance for itself, similar to the importance of the actual matter, the goal. And it needs to be done with the most possible completeness, although it is before one reaches the actual matter. And as it is regarding the general concept of education, that since it is necessarily preparation for the fulfillment fulfillment of the mitzvahs. Therefore, it receives importance and is significant matter until itself, and on the contrary, to a certain degree, on its higher than the category of mitzvahs, as was once spoken, that one needs to complete dedication to it with all efforts and powers, and in more depth, since the goal of making the world into an abode for Hashem in the lower realms is one purpose for one Hashem, in addition to the fact that every single entity in the world has significance since it is created by the power of the essence of Hashem, and that He alone has the power and ability to create something from nothing, Eish Miyayin, and that the fulfillment of this purpose and its completeness is accomplished with the details of the lower realm, also included the matters that are only in preparation and introduction to another matter. Indeed, from the preparation of the purpose of the essence of Hashem, every single entity in the world, also the unimportant things, and the preparation has in it the infinite power, the power of the essence that makes the thing itself a true matter with a point and purpose, and therefore service involving in doing its needs to be with completeness through thought, speech, and action, and specifically through this its purpose is fulfilled, namely the preparation which leads to the actual matter, and more detail. Similarly, it is also revealed through thought, and more in detail. Similarly, it is also regarding thought, speech, and action themselves, thought, speech, and our preparation and introduction to action, since the main thing is action. However, through them bringing about action, and the action is based on the thought and the speech, they are also receive importance for themselves, and this is also regarding in general Seder Histadlish, that through the service of making an abode for Hashem in the lower realms, similar to the aspect of action in comparison to thought and speech, which is accomplished through the power and is founded on the revelation of the upper worlds, also the upper worlds attain to ascend and receive the revelation of infinite power, although through their own they are upper worlds and a descent from the light of His face, blessed be He. According to this will be understood the lessons from the service of man in the present place and time, according to the instruction of the Psalmic Tzedek, as mentioned in chapter 1, to a Jew who wanted to ascend to Eretz Yisrael and immerse himself in Torah and godly service, make here Eretz Yisrael, machdu Eretz Yisrael. Also here outside the Eretz Yisrael is not Eretz Yisrael, and the service outside of Eretz Yisrael in the time of exile is in preparation for the complete service in the true and complete redemption in Eretz Yisrael, as the Jewish people pray every day. However, since our being in exile outside of since our being in exile and outside of Eretz Yisrael is certainly not by chance, heaven forbid, rather by divine providence, and I do not request only according to strength. Indeed, there is purpose and point to this place and state itself, which is connected and is a foretaste of all the embracing purpose of Eretz Yisrael, which for its sake the service in exile is its preparation, and therefore a Jew needs to do his service here in this place and this time in the most possible completeness, benefiting the power and opportunities in his present state in thought and speech and action, like a panimi who is totally involved in the service in which he occupied with now, and does not think at all about the time about another service that will come afterwards, and does not think at the time about another service that will come afterwards. And what is the content of his service here? To make an abode for him. Blessed be He in the lower realm, and in the words of the Psalmic Tzedek, make here Eretz Yisrael, to make from this place and time a land in which Judaism, Yisrael, is clearly evident, since a Jew is Yisrael. Wherever he is, it is in his power to make the place in which he is into a place similar to that of Eretz Yisrael, and specifically in synagogues, house of study outside Eretz Yisrael, above all which are destined to be relocated to Eretz Yisrael. Moreover, specifically by doing the service with completeness here in the place and time of exile, namely one is totally involved in the service with his thought, speech, and action. This itself gets the person used to it and brings him to the goal of for the sake of which he does the service here. The service of Eretz Yisrael, literally in the true and complete redemption, similar to the words of our sages, the mitzvahs in the present time are reminders, so that when you return to the Holy Land, they will not be new to you. And especially when we are speaking of the preparation for the true and complete redemption, which is as its name denotes, the true and completeness in all matters, in all the details of man and the world. And from this is understood that the completeness of the redemption, whose concept is revealed, the completeness in each detail, also in the matter which are only preparation for another matter, is dependent on the service itself, on this itself, namely that while we are here, the service of man is with the completeness of his thought, speech, and action make here Eretz Yisrael, and not in a matter of it is evident that he is merely preparing for something else, and specifically the service and completeness here, the utmost possible complete service in a capability of a person here. Person there gets the person used to and brings him to the completeness of the service of Eretz Yisrael and the true and complete redemption. And according to the instruction, make here Eretz Yisrael is understood. Although we are in exile, in the moment after the redemption will come, and we will go to Eretz Yisrael, the service in this moment and this place here needs to be with utmost completeness according to the current condition and current place. The service must be expressed and make here Eretz Yisrael, to bring into here this place and time. Eretz Yisrael, the completeness of the state of the redemption, similar to Menimi, who infuses completeness into each detail in his service. Also the matters which are only preparation for other matters. And 3, this itself gets the Jewish people used to the redemption until it brings the complete redemption when all the Jewish people return to Eretz Yisrael, literally, and Eretz Yisrael is destined to spread to all the lands through the service of Make Here Eretz Yisrael Now. This matter is more emphasized in the calendar layout this year than the Shabbos Parshas Pinchas, in which we read regarding the settling and division of land, is also Shabbos blessing Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av, which occurs this year on Friday. Although in the Torah this month is Av, it's customary for the Jewish people to call it Menachem Av. We add the word Menachem, moreover, we actually begin with Menachem, and when we say one of the reasons for this is Menachem, comforter, which denotes the comfort of the redemption, is the purpose of the descent of the month of Av. And more than that, Menachem, redemption, is the beginning of which comes before all matters of descent, as the words of our sages on the verse in the Spirit from before Hashem was hovering over the face of the water, that immediately at the beginning of the creation there was the Spirit of Mashiach, since the redemption is the foundation and the inner purpose of all matters, also of Av, meaning root and source of the words of the Talmud, and the source of all of them, the source of all matters, all the source of whole holiness. And when we say that this gives afterward the power that when a descent comes afterwards, or rather outwardly and temporarily, one will only be able to reveal it in its essence and not only an introduction to another matter. Rather, this itself is its concept. The ascent, Menachem, in it is known for the phenomenon of Gula. Redemption is made up of the Gola, exile, the addition of the Aleph, since through the revelation of Alufo Shalom, master of all worlds, in the exile itself it becomes the Gula. And finding ourselves on Shabbos Mevarchim Menachem Av, the Shabbos in which we bless Menachem Av, indeed the inner purpose of the state of exile here is more revealed, as known that on the Shabbos in general, and especially on the Shabbos of Beis HaMezarin, 3 weeks, the ascent, and there is the time of the year is openly revealed, and this gives additional strength to accomplish Make Here Eretz Yisrael, to bring redemption, literally Gola, exile. And this reaches yet a higher level in our generation, in our time, with emphasis and calendar layout this year, in which Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av occurs on Friday, when everything is ready for the feast of Adam Rishon. And we are now in the 6th millennium, which corresponds to the 6 days of the week, and in itself, Erev Shabbos after midday, and according to all the signs of the redemption, we are already literally holding the coming of the redemption, as my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, informed, publicized, and announced that we have already finished everything necessary to bring the redemption, including and also polishing the buttons, and also all of you stand ready and has been finished, which means that already everything is ready for the feast, and we are already prepared to approach the table and to eat the feast of Leviasin and the shore of Bor, since here is Mashiach comes literally immediately, since the redemption has not come yet at this moment, and by divine providence we are still here in this place, and at this time we must certainly utilize it to fulfill the instruction and Make Here Eretz Yisrael as mentioned above. And regarding action, since Make Here Eretz Yisrael is an instruction that my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, publicized, and before it was not known except to certain people, it was understood that this is an instruction to all the people of the generation who are connected to the leader of the generation. The leader is everything, and especially when we are in weeks when we read in the Torah about the settling and division of land, in a time when we are already, everything is ready for the feast, and we are already standing at the threshold of the redemption and the division of Eretz Yisrael. Literally, everyone needs to add in his own service to Make Here Eretz Yisrael. Each and every Jew and Jewess, men, women, and children, each in his place and condition to do what is most possible, completeness, one thought, speech, and action, through this to get used to the completeness of the era of the redemption, as mentioned above. Each and every Jew, each and every one of the Jewish people has a part in the mission of the world of Hashem gave him. One is a businessman, another another's field is learning Torah and light. And with each category itself, each specific person has a different part and mission in the world, and each one is a certain part of the world, whereas Hashem brought him to the steps of manner established by Hashem, since his mission is specifically in this place. And so too regarding time and each moment, each hour and each day, each month and each year, each period has a specific service and mission. Now, although each millimeter in space and each moment in time and each person's specific mission in the world is only a small part of the whole world, of all the places and all the times, and sometimes a person could think, how could it be that he had been in a different place in a different time? It's possible that his service would be a different manner, and maybe even a better manner than it is now and the like. And similarly, there can be the question, since my service is only in a small corner of the world, and the details of the detail, how does it make such a difference how I act in it? How much more so, seemingly, how does not, it seems to him, have an effect on the whole world? And more than this, he asks, how is it that the demands of him to bring the redemption, a general redemption for the whole world, when his service is only a small part of the world in place and time? We hereby tell every Jew, you have the instruction from the leader of our generation, make here Eretz Yisrael. Your service needs to be expressed not in thinking about what is being done in a different corner of the world and in another time, as they are for themselves and for a side purpose. Rather, give yourself totally in thought, speech, and action, making here Eretz Yisrael in your specific place and in each moment of your specific time. And specifically through this, you will be accomplished in the whole entire world, in all the places and all the times, since in your part of the world there are included all the parts of the world. Similar to how it was regarding the division of Eretz Yisrael, that although each tribe and each family and each tribe receives a certain part of Eretz Yisrael, each part had the virtues of all the parts of Eretz Yisrael, about which is said, a land which all the eyes of Hashem, your God, are in it from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And our sages said, Eretz Yisrael is missing nothing, as it says, it does not lack anything. As the words of our sages, there is no one of the Jewish people who does not have a portion of a mountain, a plain, a dry land, and a valley, as understood from the fact that each and every person must say, the whole world was created for me, for since the whole world was created for him, it's understood that this is his power to accomplish in the whole world through this, that he is his specific, that in his specific part includes in him the whole entire world, as written, the whole world he put in their hearts. And although his service is only in one realm, we can see from the Jews and the tzaddikim who already finished their mission in this world, that since all the Jewish people are assumed to be righteous, we must say that they are there, that they, their part at least, completely fulfilled their mission in the world, although it was not in all realms of service. In truth, each and every one of the Jewish people includes in him all the realms of service, as understood from what is said in Kriyas Shema upon going to sleep at night. Whether it is in this incarnation, whether it is in another incarnation, and since it is in an honest accounting, it's understood that it is in his power to accomplish also regarding another incarnation, and therefore he can make an honest accounting of it. And according to this, it's understood that the service of his incarnations joins together in his service, which from this it's understood that each and every one of the Jewish people, whatever his mission may be in the world, has in his power to make here Eretz Yisrael, and through this to accomplish so in the world, the entire world, the whole entire world. Even if a person is a businessman involved in worldly matters and is not a gabbai and a shul of the light, and naturally he could seemingly think, what connection does he have with the holiness of Eretz Yisrael, that seemingly it is only in a shul or a base midrash? Truthfully, in addition to the fact that he can have a part in the participating in the building of a shul or the base midrash with his money or the like, also his services, when he does it with completeness according to the power, his power, including all the aspects of service and parts of Eretz Yisrael. And according to this, it's also understood that each and every one of the Jewish people has the responsibility to bring the redemption to the whole world, since through him doing his own service with completeness in thought, speech, and action, even in a detail of details, even a single moment and only one place here, he has the power to turn it into Eretz Yisrael, and through this to accomplish and bring the complete redemption to the whole world. And in simple words, as we presently stand close right before redemption, each and every one of the Jewish people needs to get him used to the redemption and to place himself in a state and feeling of redemption through making this day a personal redemption and making this place Eretz Yisrael, through him doing his service in the moment and his place with total completeness, with thought, speech, and action. And as a result of the completeness of his own service in thought, speech, and action, this must show also in his speech, similar to the lot would speak, that since he is permeated with the instruction of the service of Make Here Eretz Yisrael with deep felt liveliness, he speaks about this with liveliness also with others, and publicizes the instruction to make here Eretz Yisrael to his household and to those who are near him, and most certainly to his disciples, to the extent that he speaks about this with whomever he can reach. And since it comes from his inner self, he speaks words that come from the heart, which go into the heart and accomplish their accomplishment, and most certainly through him showing a living example of his own service, to the extent that he accomplishes that also the hearers become speakers. The lot would speak. And regarding action, immediately when Shabbos is over, if Mashiach will, heaven forbid, not come before then, we should see to publicize in every single place in a way permitted after Shabbos the instruction of Make Here Eretz Yisrael, and to continue publicizing the instruction of the following day until Mashiach will come, and then we shall continue in Eretz Yisrael. Literally, in addition to the phenomenon of Eretz Yisrael, is destined to spread to all the lands. One of the special matters of the service of Make Here Eretz Yisrael, which is connected especially to the 9 days which start on Friday, is custom to make a siyum festivals upon completing tractates of the Shas of each day of the 9 days, even when a meat meal is not eaten afterward, from Rosh Chodesh until Tisha B'Av, that on Erev Tisha B'Av and on Tesha B'Av, the 10th, the permitted manner according to the Shulchan Aruch. And among the reasons for this, since in these days we look for the permanent matters of how we can increase good and happy manners, and through this reveal the inner good, and in the descent connects with these days, starting with the commandments of Hashem, are straight and gladden the heart. We make a joyous celebration upon completing Torah, and from this it is correct to make a siyum also on the Shabbos day, the 9 days, and this year both on Shabbos of the 2nd of Av and on the Shabbos of the postponed Tisha B'Av. And may it be the will of Hashem that even before the beginning of these days, the redemption shall already come, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled, that these days shall be transformed to joy and gladness and good and festivals. And through the phenomenon that the Jewish people do the service of Make Here Eretz Yisrael in completeness, get used to the redemption, we will literally immediately dance into the redemption, and we will all dance into Eretz Yisrael, and we will receive the part of the division of Eretz Yisrael in the redemption to 13 tribes by Hashem himself. Hashem divides it to them himself, and as mentioned, Eretz Yisrael is destined to spread to all the lands. Thank you for watching. Zayga Bench, only blessings and good news.